Well, good morning, everyone. Let's give a hand to the band. Yeah. Thank you for that great introduction. I just love all the energy there is in the room this morning. I'm going to invite everyone to come on in and find a seat. Woo-hoo. All right. Oh, look at that. It got quiet all of a sudden. I was like, oh, we're starting. Well, whether you are joining us here in the sanctuary or you are part of our online community, we like to think of this community as home. And so let me be the first to say, welcome home. We're so glad that you are here. And here at Eureka CSL, we like to start every service in two very important ways. And the first is acknowledging the native lands that we are on. Aha. So we're just going to, let me go ahead and say this for us. The Eureka Center for Spiritual Living acknowledges that the land on which we gather is the ancestral territory of the Wiyot peoples. This territory extends to the communities throughout most of Humboldt County, and we honor the Wiyot people today. And next, we would like to say our welcoming affirmation. And so we're going to say the first part together, and then I'll invite you to turn to someone near you to say the last line, the I honor the path that brought you here this morning. And so let us begin. We are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us. I honor the path that brought you here today. I honor the path that brought you here today. I honor the path that brought you here today. I honor the path that brought you here today. All right. And now up on the screen, you will see our schedule for this week. If you're looking for other ways to lean into this community and get to know people better, here are some great ideas. And we'll touch on just a few of those. Reverend Angelica is going to be teaching a 5-week class called Mental Equivalence. There's going to be 2 options for this class, and they're offered for just $200. The first is February 1st through the 29th. Those are Thursday mornings from 10 to noon. And if you're not somebody who can attend a daytime class, there's also a Tuesday evening class that runs from February 6th through March 5th that is going to be from 7 to 9 p.m. on Zoom.
It's not actually February 1st, it's February 8th.
It's February 8th?
Yeah.
Okay.
I changed it.
Okay, February 8th through March 7th, so we've shifted a little bit. All right. Next up, we have a class that Scott Q. Marcus is going to be teaching called Healthy Mind, Healthy Body. Change the habits holding you back and have fun in the process. Scott, did you want to come up and say a few things about this? I know it's going to be February 7th through March 6th, I think.
Good morning. 85% of all New Year's resolutions end by February 15th. What was that? We got a few more days, so hurry up and lose your motivation because time is running out. Anyway, this is not really a resolution thing, but there's a general rule about human behavior, which I'm going to toss out here. Everything we do, and this kind of ties into science of mind, but the class isn't really science of mind. It is in the big picture because everything is. Everything we do, every behavior we make, every action we take is generated by positive intention. Every single thing we do is generated to make our life a little better. Now, sometimes the intention matches the result. Sometimes, however, they don't. For example, why is it that I would eat to excess when I know it's harming my health? Well, there's a positive intention behind it. Why is it that I would get so outrageously angry about everything when I know I have control about that? There's a positive intention behind it. Why is it I would become totally sedentary when I know I need to get out and take a walk once in a while? There's a positive intention behind it. The question is, what is the positive intention, and how do you get that positive intention without the side effect, which might be the weight gain, the poor health, the anger, the stress, or whatever it is? That's what this class is about. We're going to take a look at the cycle that takes us from what we see to what we think to what we feel to what we do, and how to change it in a fun, supportive environment. So it's a 5-week course. We need at least 10 people to make it work. It's $79. And then at the end of the 5 weeks, if you think it was worth more, great, throw a few more dollars into the pot. If you think it was worth less, you're stuck. But I promise that anybody who goes through and doesn't like it, 100% money back guarantee. I don't want anybody to go around saying, oh, that was a ripoff, because it is not. It's a lot of fun. I've done it 3 times for the Mothership. The Mothership is my affectionate term for the Centers for Spiritual Living in Denver, in Colorado. What? Home office. Okay, that's probably a better way to word it. I like Mothership. The home office. So if you're interested, please sign up. There is a sign-up sheet. We'd like to get the sign-ups going now. And then Angelica also asked me to mention, I'm in a play. I feel like I'm having an affair on the North Coast Repertory Theater. I'm going to be in a play starting February 9th. It's just 1 week. It's the weekend of the 9th and then the following weekend, and a special Valentine's Day performance at the Exit Theater in Arcata. It's above Moore's Sleep World. Nobody knows it's there. It's 30 seats, small, intimate theater. The play is called Potato Gumbo, and it's a really poignant story about aging, romance, Alzheimer's, and growing old together. So it's got a lot of humor in it. It's got a lot of emotion in it. And if you would like to go, there are not many seats because, like I said, it's a 30-seat theater. I think Angelica's trying to put something together with that. But again, February 9th, tickets are $20. And if you'd like to know more, it's at it's at Exit. I don't know. It's online. Exit Theater in Arcata. So, okay. Thank you very much.
Good stuff. We also have coming up on February 11th, if you would like to renew your commitment to your beloved, please go ahead and sign up on the sign table. We're going to be doing commitment renewals. And so consider that for your Valentine's celebration as we move into February next month. We also have a new Wednesday night offering. It's going to be the third Wednesday of each month from 6 to 7 p.m. It's called My Next Step, and this is a short talk and discussion with a little bit of meditation that will be led by Reverend Angelica. Anything else you want me to add to that?
The first one was great.
The first one was great. All right.
We had a great conversation.
And it's in person here at the center, yes, or online?
Zoom.
It's on Zoom. Okay. All right. We also have Art with Louise. Yay! This is coming back. It'll be, that can be a clap for that. It's Saturday, February 17th from 10 to noon with colored pencils. And do you want to come up and tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, we're going to do something called, unless you want to just read it up there, but I'll tell you, something called Primary Challenge. And a primary in art means red, yellow, blue. It's a colored pencil class, and we are going to do art, making all the colors using 3 colors. So it's a little bit of a challenge, but it's fun. And I'm just, before service here, I was just making some ideas of, if you don't know how to draw, it's something you can trace. So I'm making some little sketches, and you'll be able to choose. And this is in person, and I hope you join me. Thank you.
Such a fun way to keep us in our creative space. We also have a fun adult social group that is forming, and I don't see Rose here to talk about it, so I'll just tell you a little bit about what I know. We're going to call it Better Together, and it's a group of people from the center looking to do at least one activity per month. So just to get out and have some fun and be with other like-minded people doing some things here in person, some activities. Please also remember to fill out your membership form, and you can turn them in there on the side table. And I think there's extras over there as well if you need one. Yeah. All right. Our bookstore this month, 20% off all daily guides except for Reverend Angelica's book. So go ahead and check those out. As always, our little pantry is one of the ways that we serve our community and help those that are in need. And right now, what our little pantry is in need of is baby food, canned meats, and bars, like granola bars and other kind of bars.
And vegetables or soups or whatever, pop-top cans are preferable.
And pop-top cans are preferable, and Reverend Angelica said, and soup too we need. All right, and next I want to turn this over to Lori for our Green Minute.
Let me make one, while she's coming up here, let me just,
Okay.
I want to, does anyone here remember Russell Shorey? Yeah. His son died a week ago up in Alaska, so I have I've made a card for us to sign so for those of you who would like to, even though he hasn't come to the church in quite a while, not since since he was here when I was first here, but he had studied to be a practitioner and everything, so I think I'm going to put this over there if anybody wants to sign it. Thank you. And now it's Lori.
Did you not do the pictures I sent you?
Yeah, they're on the next one.
You can take me off of there. Oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. That's kind of advanced. Okay, there we go. Today's theme is tips and tricks, and the reason I named it that is the tips are going to be involved with adding to some information I've given to you in the past. So let's see here. Just get this stuff out of the bag because I'm often seen ducking down in the video, and I'm like, I gotta stop ducking. Quack, quack. Okay, so one of the things we've talked about before is reusing our plastic containers so we're not buying more plastic containers. And I noticed that sometimes when I reuse the plastic container, the squirt mechanism doesn't work. And so, you know how you go to get paint at Pearson's and you get to walk around and spend a lot more money while they're mixing the paint? I mean, what else is there, right? So I found this. They sell these for like a couple of bucks, and they're kind of long, so you can trim it to whatever length you need. It's got this little thing on the bottom that you can take off. It's got a little filter on it, so you want to put it back on. But anyway, that's kind of another way that we can continue to reuse these plastic bottles instead of buying them all the time. And then I talked about these before. There's different items that you can mix and put in your own containers. So I just want to remind you of that. There's name brand items that have made dissolvable stuff. And then there's this Everspring. This one's the bathroom cleaner that you can get at Target. So, and then in that photo, there was a picture of a shower head. And I just wanted to say, you know, if you're not using a restrictive shower head to reduce the amount of water that you're using, that one is on Amazon, and the little bar can control how much flow you get. Because I like to kind of be stung to death by my shower. Not everyone, but you know, so it's actually resisting even more water when you do that. But they're also available in town. I recently got one at Ace for $14.99. So, yeah, save the water. Another tip is related to flossers that we talked about before. You can see them on the ground like cigarette butts. And I talked about it before, and I showed you some floss that you can use. It was Dr. Tongue floss. But Tiffany turned me on to these. These are plant-based flossers. So if you're going to throw it on the ground, which I hope you don't anyway, it's plant-based and it'll dissolve. And I saw them on Amazon first, but they have them at Winco. So they'll probably have them at Safeway and, you know, all the other stores. And I like the little tree on the back. It kind of helps me to remember which one is the right one. So the trick today is, I think I'm thirsty. I think I'll have a drink of this. It's got a little pop top. Oh, this is a refill for a cleaning product. And this is it. Puracy Clean Can Starter Kit. So this is what you'd start with, and this is the refill. And, it's got its own little squirty thing. But I want you to see that all it is something to put the can in. And then, and so basically, I don't like that they put it in a plastic bottle, though. If you could just use it, without that, but I think this has to screw on. But it's another way that we can reuse, recycle, and I tried to trick you with it being but they do come with a little sticky on top that says, "Do not drink this."
A nickel extra for the bottle for that because it's recyclable.
That's a good question. I didn't look at the receipt to see. I just thought it was another creative way to, not use plastic. I haven't tried the cleaner. I usually don't. I usually don't refer you guys to something that I haven't actually used. But the other thing about that is you can reuse it with the other dissolvable cleaners too. So whether you get the can of the refill or what. Anyway, thanks.
So great. I just love all of the amazing ways that we support our community and our world, and these green minutes are so important. Such a great way to do that. Our theme for this month is the Grand Rising. And now we're going to move into more of the contemplative moment for our service here. And I'm going to do the moment of peace with Jackson accompanying. So I'm going to read a passage, and then we'll have some time for contemplation, followed by some music. And then I'll give our opening treatment, which is our form of affirmative prayer. And then Jackson will give us a little bit more music. I'll get another slide for that. Yep. So this is a passage by Wayne Dyer, and it is called The Tao of Inner Peace. Peace is not found in the external world. It is an inside job. The Tao, the eternal force that guides all things, teaches us to let go of resistance and flow with the natural order of life. As you release the need for control and accept the present moment, you become a vessel of peace. It is in the silence between your thoughts that you connect with the Tao, the source of all peace. Be still and let the wisdom of the universe guide you to the tranquil shores of inner harmony. Please take this into the sacred silence.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
And so it is in that inner stillness that I know and recognize that the face of God is all that there is only one power, one presence. It is the source and substance of all things, in all ways and always, all God and all good. And this good shows up in many ways. It shows up as peace and love and joy. And what I know is true is that everyone in the sound of my voice is one with this, because there is only one. That in that oneness, as we gather in that space and place where we are all connected, what I know is true is that we are each that emanation of love. That peace isn't something we obtain, but is what we are. That joy isn't external, but is something that we cultivate within each one of us. That love simply flows through us and out in front of us to prepare the way. And that in this space of knowing, what I know is as we continue to share these gifts with each other and with this beloved community, that it spreads out and infects the entire world. That we are, from gathering here, simply up-leveling the vibration of the very planet itself. And so I just bless every volunteer and every hand who made this gathering possible today. I bless the message that pours forth through Reverend Angelica, knowing that it is the divine made manifest right here, right now. And I bless our music, that the harmony is that joy in action. That each piece and part of the service is divinely organized and ordained. And I simply call it good, and so very good as I cast this forth into the law. I let it go, I let it be, knowing that sweet Spirit always whispers, yes, my beloved ones, yes. And we affirm and know this together by saying together, and so it is.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
And now it is my pleasure to turn the time over to Reverend Angelica.
Thank you, Karen and Jackson. You know, Jackson, I was sitting there listening to you sing and thinking, God, what a beautiful voice you have. I love it.
Thank you.
I also want to acknowledge everybody for last week. That was so much fun. It was really fun. It made me think about the Gemini part of me, started thinking about what else could we do differently maybe once a month or so that will be cause a lot of laughter and joy and love and fun and all of that. So if anybody has any ideas, you could give them to me. One of my ideas was, two of mine is, and I've mentioned this before, I'd like to see some dance during music. Whether we're standing up in our seats boogieing to the music or whether somebody actually does a performance like Amy did. We also are thinking about doing well, I'm going to call it creative arts to sort of put it all together, but some little plays or readings kind of things during the Sundays. So if anybody has any ideas, let us know. So before the party last week, we were talking this month about the 4 chapters in the prologue to the Science of Mind textbook. The thing itself, no, the way it works. Yeah, that. Well, today we're going to put 2 together because we used one of our Sundays when I would have talked about it for last Sunday, which was so much fun. So when I'm thinking about this tradition that we're in, this faith tradition, I think about it. I think about these 4 lessons as being a series on it, I-T, both capitalized, because we don't. Most of us have a preconceived idea of what the word God means. And sometimes that is not associated with fun things. It's associated with, judgment, etc. And so there's so many different ways on things we could call it. And it sounds sort of impersonal. And yet the truth is that this energy, this divine energy, which I think of it as being, is impersonal. And so here in this divine energy, what we want to remember is that everything is made of it. Everything is part of this great oneness. Everything. There is absolutely nothing. I mean, even inanimate objects, etc. It's all this divine energy coalesced into what we believe it is. I had this idea years and years ago about some early people, Aboriginal people, who, were out hunting and doing things and whatever, and, they'd come back in the cave at night and they would sit there, and it might be cold or the floor might be hard or whatever. And one day I can see that one of the hunters has skinned an animal, and the skin is dried and everything is nice and furry. And he comes in one day because his back is hurting. And so he throws this skin over a rock and then makes it so that it fits on the ground as well, and then sits down with his back against it, and a chair is born. A recliner, yeah. But just think about that somebody had an idea, and everything that he needed for that idea came to him in one way or another, and something happened. And now we've got innumerable styles of chairs that are worth thousands of dollars, and chairs that are real simple, like, the fold-out ones, etc. Everything is part of this one. And it's really hard for us to define this thing that it is, this wholeness, this oneness. Dr. Holmes called it the thing itself. But we know that absolutely everything there is an expression of it. And everything in potential is an expression of it. It might never come to form. We all have great ideas every once in a while. Perhaps they never come to form, or the thing I find is so interesting is that when I was a little girl, I always had to play with my little sister, who was 6 years younger than I was, and I wasn't really into playing with Barbies, though I wish I still had my Barbie. It'd be worth a fortune. So I designed clothes for the dolls. That was, how I played with her. And at one point, I designed capes. And I had paper capes that, that I colored so they looked like fur and plaid and all different kinds of things. And I remember about 2 months later, my mother gets a Vogue magazine And I'm looking through this magazine, and guess what was really popular that season? Capes. And I'm thinking, wow, these ideas, or a more recent thing is that someone here in the United States developed the idea of cold fusion, and then we hear that Germany has developed an idea of cold fusion. So these ideas are all in potential in this one mind, and anybody can draw on it, and whether it comes to form or not, it's still a part of this great oneness. So one of the things that I think about this great oneness is that it is both infinitely intelligent and unconditionally loving. And in this idea of unconditionally loving, sometimes we have a problem. We don't understand that this energy is impersonal. In that unconditionally loving aspect, it's impersonal. It doesn't go, oh, Donna's been so good and she dances so well, so I'm going to bless her with a lot of stuff, but I won't pick on anybody. But someone else has not been so good and not so generous with their volunteerism or whatever, so I'm not going to give them anything. It doesn't do that. Though that's what we get taught when we're little in certain Christian faiths, is if you're really good and you work really hard, you're going to have to work really hard because you're bad in the first place, right? Isn't that what we got told? At least as a little Catholic, I did.
Original sin.
What?
Original sin.
Yeah, original sin. Thank you very much. That's good. That's good. So what we know is that part of this infinite intelligence is an unconditional love that never stops in its expression. It knows what to do, when to do it, etc. It recognizes all things as part of itself, but it has to wait for us to take action. And us is part of this great oneness. It's not like we're separate from anything. God is in here. Divine love is in here. Infinite intelligence is in here. I just had a memory fly by. I was moving from a house in Glendale, and I was stripping the sheets off my bed, and this bug flew out from down at the foot of the bed under the sheets. And I'm standing there looking at it, going, what in the heck kind of bug is that? And I had no idea. I'd never seen anything like this before. Now, those of you who know me know that I'm an animal person. And the insects and birds and all that, I consider all those animals. So I know a lot about, or a little, about a lot of things. But I had no idea what this thing was. And so I said to it, I want to know what you are. You're part of this divinity. Tell me what you are. And a few days later, somebody came to me and gave me the Golden Encyclopedia of Insects. And in there was a picture of this creature, and it was a cockroach that was in, I know they're gross. But if you live in Hawaii, which I did for a long time, you get used to them. They fly. It was a cockroach that was in the process of getting ready to have eggs. And they change so that they look really weird during that time. Now, that wasn't really a good thing for me to realize. I washed those sheets in really hot water, believe me. But, so this infinite intelligence, if you ask it anything, anywhere, it will help you. It will give you an answer. I remember one time somebody said, I read this, and then I said it to somebody, and then I tried it, and it worked. And that was that this idea that anything you want will express itself as the divine. And so I was having a hard time with a particular problem I was doing in my writing, and I was heading to the bathroom, and I stopped in the doorway, and I put my hand on the edge of the, where the door is, the door jamb, I guess you call it, And I said, okay, if this is real, if you're absolutely everywhere and you are my house, surrounding me, giving me security, etc., then I want to move through this idea, through this problem that I'm having. And then I went and did my thing and came back through the door again to go out to where my computer was, and instantly had an idea that put all the little pieces I was writing about in order. And I thought, everything is divine. This is divine. This is divine. Everything is divine. That's something that I wish, that I want for all of us to embody, this idea that everything is divine and that it's absolutely everywhere. Now, when we think about what this thing does, what we have to remember is we have two main powers in our life. One is our intelligence, or our thoughts, and one is our feelings. And I don't think we give enough credit to our feelings, but they are just as important. So what I know about myself is I spend a lot of time in my brain. In fact, I've been going to Kathy's son, Ben, and I said to him one day that I realized, as he's putting me through some physical exercise things, I realized I live up here. It's like this part of me doesn't exist. You know, I live up here in my thoughts. And you know, I'm so curious. I always need a little bit more information about this, or a little bit. You say a word to me I don't understand. I'm on my phone looking it up to see what it is. So I'm one of those curious people that is always living here. I think that if I just had a little bit more information, I would know how to deal with all the things that go on in the world and in my life. And I forget that the other part of me needs to get in there and do some work as well. So when we were little, we were constantly fed information so that we would conform to the way our parents thought we should act. We were given instructions on how to live, what to say, what fork, what knife, etc., what to do. Some things we learned. Some things we didn't. We just let it flow through. What I know is that one of the things that we learned was that everybody should think like we do. And boy, as I've been through this teaching, I have learned that is not the truth. And how to honor the differences between us. So when we learned all these things as children, it seems natural to us that we would learn that God is outside of us. And we made up stories about what God is, etc. Humanity did over the years. You know, I've always tried to come up with a story. Where did early humanity come up with this idea that there's something outside of themselves? Probably when a lightning bolt came down and set a fire or something like that. You know, oh, the gods are mad at us, right? So all of this stuff is from an overabundance of the intellect. The other energy that I want to talk to you about is feelings. How we manage our intellect determines the shape of the forms of our lives, and how we manage our feelings determines the extent of our joy. So as we move forward in this teaching, we realize that life really isn't about what's in our lives or what's in the circumstances of our lives. It's about our feelings, which many of us tend to neglect. Those of you who are on my Friday message mailing read 2 Fridays ago that in that movie that's on Netflix called Good Grief, there is the attorney says to him, one of the actors, that she realized that her partner had died a long time ago and she had shut down. And she realized that if she can't feel the pain, she can't feel the love either. And as I've been thinking about this thought, I realized in my own life that maybe that's why I lived in my head so much, because I had so much pain as a younger person. And so I shut down, and I figured, the smarter I am, the better it'll be. Well, that's what I was taught as a kid anyway. But I neglected my feelings. So what happens when we neglect our feelings? They're working through us and around us, whether we're aware of them or not. And sometimes they work through us by, we're suddenly very angry at somebody, and we almost step back and go, where did that come from? Has anybody had that feeling? Never. Yeah, never. Yeah, right. Liar, liar. So the feelings, I'm getting to this point, and this is what my next step, the third Wednesday class on Zoom is about getting to our feelings and allowing ourselves to feel them and move through them. You can't move through it if you don't feel it. You have to let yourself feel it. And what is it that we want to feel? We want to feel joy. We want to feel laughter. We want to feel happiness. And yet all of the feelings that we have are part of the human experience, and you're entitled to them. If somebody told you as a little kid that it's not proper to be angry, let that go. You wouldn't have that emotion unless it was part of your makeup. It's not proper to carry it on for years and years, for instance. It's going to get you sooner or later. So what I want you to do is notice the investment that you're making in not caring or not feeling, not allowing yourself to feel. And start opening up just a little bit. Even if something has been really painful and you've tried to avoid it, let yourself, well, let's put it this way. What I've noticed is that the pain that I still have about anything in the past, oh boy, it's probably not what really happened anyway, because I've built a story all around it, and I've embroidered that story. I've made it really, strong. The truth is, as I let go of that pain, as I allow myself to feel it, and one of the ways I do is by journaling, and letting myself cry and all that, or watching a movie that's sad so I could cry. This is my feelings and training stuff. So as I let myself let go of that stuff, what I've realized is that it opens up a space for me to feel love, to feel more joy. There's a lot of things that will give us pain. I mean, when somebody dies or somebody gets sick or, you lose a job or whatever, there's so much that can give us pain. And if we're like little children, we'll feel it immediately and let it go. Little children do not hold on to stuff. They get trained into doing that as they grow up. Jesus said, "Come unto me as a little child." My teacher, Helen Street, said, if you have a problem with the idea of Jesus, think about the name, J-E-S-U-S, and put an I in there, and it becomes Je suis, which is I am. So the I am consciousness wants you to come to it as a little child. That means not dragging that baggage along with us, etc. So I thought about this. So we have this infinite intelligence and unconditional love, and it's like the horse and rider. So the horse is the energy of the feeling. If you let a horse alone out in the pasture, it's going to do what it's going to do. It's either going to sit around or stand around and eat grass, or it's going to run and jump and leap and, have fun playing and just being. So sometimes we want to create a direction. So we saddle up the horse and ride, and the rider is the intellect. Sometimes we put boundaries up or fences, right? And the horse can take us over those. I.e., for instance, we want to start a business. So we think we need to get a loan. So that would be something where you're thinking yourself over the fence. So when we're ready to create something and we saddle up the horse and ride, we create a package called belief, the union of thought and feeling. So as I said a moment ago, when we look at our feeling side, we think it's too wild and messy. And it tends to come right in our face all the time. It's not elegant or refined, so we look at this messiness and we don't want to live there, yet our soul yearns to express our feelings. So we have to learn to express them right when the thing happens, when the thing comes up. Learn how to express it then. One of the other things I realized about feelings is that most of us feel like we have to wait until we accomplish something to really feel something, like feel successful, for instance. Except if you want more love or more joy or more feelings of success, those are already within you. Let yourself just feel them anyway. What I know is that the universe is waiting. It's like this divine energy is out here vibrating, just waiting for us to speak our word or to think a thought with feeling into it. If you're just saying, I want to be prosperous, I want to be prosperous, I want to be prosperous, you might find a penny or a quarter or something like that. But if you've got the feeling in it, you allow yourself to, I am prosperous, and you feel it, then something else, something bigger will happen. So what I know is that what we want to do is we want to feel one with this divine energy. We want to realize that it's absolutely everywhere around us, that it's serving us according to our predominant beliefs and feelings, and that it's going to serve us forever. It never stops. It's never going to say, no, you did this when you were a kid, or no, you're living this kind of lifestyle. It's just going to give and give and give. God is the great giver, and we need to be the great receivers. But we need to put the plan in action first. So what does this thing, it do? It works through us, as us, according to what we believe. And so let's play this week with this idea. Let's choose our thoughts carefully. Let's choose our feelings carefully. Let's choose, for instance, to be in a space of joy. I just love the quote by Teilhard de Chardin that says, joy is the infallible sign of the presence of God. That's my favorite quote. So let yourself feel joyful. Look for things this week to feel joyful about. We don't have to look at the things that make us mad. We could turn away from those. Choose your thoughts and then surround them with feelings so that they then become your beliefs, because your beliefs are what is creating in this universe. And I know that we can all create more good, more love, more happiness. The universe's only word is yes. Oh, my back hurts. Yes, my darling. Oh, I have such an abundant life. Yes, my darling. Doesn't matter. So you are the one that gets to choose. And I know for each one of us that we choose life, and we choose it wisely. Let's see our I could do this. Which one do I do? Oh, there it is. All right, let's say this together and then we'll do a spiritual mind treatment. As I demonstrate the supremacy of spiritual thought force over apparent material resistance, I know the power of the universe is flowing through me, and I am open and receptive to my greatest good. And so I thank Catherine Kane for doing the affirmations this month. She's our out of the area practitioner. She lives in Oahu. So, and for those of you who are newish, the spiritual mind treatment is actually a form of affirmative prayer. And when I speak them, I speak it in the I, the first person. Because I believe that if I'm saying, I know you, or I know we, then it's harder for us to embody when you're sitting there, as than it would be if you listen to it with the I. So you're taking this in as your own. Gratefully I acknowledge this amazing power and presence in the world, in the universe. I recognize that it is the sole creator of absolutely everything that there is. And I know that it creates through me. And so I celebrate this idea that I have this power of both my thoughts and my feelings within me, and that I can create whatever it is I wish to see in my world. So today I choose to create more joy. I let myself believe that I am a joy-filled person. I let myself believe that I can feel joy easily and effortlessly. And so I allow myself to recognize the things that come to me because of my awareness of this. Maybe I might hear a child's laughter. Maybe I might have my pet come to me very lovingly. Maybe I might be walking in nature and feel the energy of the trees, the flowers, even the weeds. And I allow myself to remember this is all the one divine energy. All one. There is only one. And I am part of that one. And how grateful I am to remember this truth. Remember that I can be part of the energy that is creating peace in this world. Regardless of what is happening out there, I choose peace. I choose to give that loving energy to everywhere on our planet that needs it. I choose to live in peace and in joy and in love. So this week I choose to move through this spiritual path called my life, allowing myself to pay attention to the love notes from the universe and allow myself to give love notes out all the time. It could be as simple as admiring a plant. It could be sharing the loving energy with someone in my life. It could be blessing Mother Earth for giving us all that she gives us, for sustaining us. I choose to share love, to share peace. And I do all of this because I remember there is only one life. That life is divine life, and that life is the life I am living right now. So with a heart filled with gratitude that allows me to remember this at every moment of every day, I release these words into the law, that divine law, knowing that they are already so, and so it is. And Jackson is doing our music this morning, so let's give him a hand.
When I heard a couple of months ago what the topic was for today, I knew instantly that I wanted to do the music and what song I wanted to do. You know you make an affirmation when you speak your word. You're in the process of creation when you speak your word. Well, you begin with an idea and then you give it life when you let the Holy Spirit through. Start a better way of living when you speak your word. Oh, you will know your life is changing when you speak your word. And you'll control the rearranging when you speak your word. You have the power within to make a positive change, and claiming it can make it come true. Yes, it all begins to happen when you speak your word. You got to keep on keeping on, really practicing what you believe. And when you do your work and give a lot of love, as you accept, you will receive. You got to keep on keeping on, really practicing what you believe. And when you do your work and give a lot of love, as you accept, you will receive. Oh, you will deepen your convictions when you speak your word. And life has fewer contradictions when you speak your word. The possibilities are endless, you can have it all and make your every dream come true. And it all begins to happen when you speak your word, 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 word. The possibilities are endless, you can have it all and make your every dream come true. And it all begins to happen when you speak your word. Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it all begins to happen when you speak your word. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jackson. What a great song. Oh, and now we have the time where we have the opportunity to share our gifts in the form of financial abundance. And what we know is that money too is the energy of the divine in action. And so I just invite our ushers to come forward. So we have two in the side of each room. And I encourage you to take whatever gift you have to give to your heart, and whether that is a check, or you're an online giver and you have an Ernie buck, or you have cash to give, or even just a blessing that you want to put out that energy into the world, to bring that to your heart space as we say this affirmation together. Where did our affirmation go? There we go. I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses the center, all in it and beyond, and so it is. every giver, knowing that as we give, so we receive. And we know that every donation that has been given goes out to bless the sinner and support this beloved community for which we serve. So I simply call it good and so very good. And so it is. Thank you so much. All right, and now we have the opportunity for someone to come up to read our community statement of inclusion. So who feels called to come up and read this today? I know somebody wants to. Who wants to read this? All right. I knew if I waited long enough, I'd break somebody down.
Well, I'm so shy, I just didn't
Thank
want
you,
to do
Louise.
it. We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remains learners and listeners so that we may grow together, and understands that oneness is not sameness. And together, we know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're running a little short on time, but I know we didn't do any demonstrations last week, so I wanted to leave time if there are just 2 people who want to come up and share any demonstrations they have had this week. Okay, come on up.
Jackson, I have a question from a Zoomer. Did you write that song?
No.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I had a neighbor that was in the hospital, and he was on life support. And I prayed to God that he would come out of it. And there was a lady that he used to go with that lives at the same place I do. She went up to the hospital, and that same day, somehow he came out of it. And he is still not doing too good, but they let him come home anyway. But his name is Ransom, and it made me feel good to see him come home that day. But he has to have one of those coloscopy bags because, and when they had him in the hospital, he was on 4 machines, life support. But when she went up there, that was his ex-girlfriend, quote unquote. But when she came down to see him, he told her, "I don't ever want to see you again, even though you helped me come out of it." But I guess there was a reason for that. But I am so glad that he's back home and that he's doing great. And everybody's taking care of him that lives there that knows him. And if you would pray for him. Thank you.
All right. Do we have any other demonstrations of prayer that has been acknowledged and known, like the wholeness of this gentleman who then managed to get home? Oh, I see a hand over here. Come on up.
Mine is from November.
Okay.
Everybody keeps talking, so.
We've got a lot of good.
Yeah, right?
Doesn't matter, could
So-
be from
Yeah.
Okay, so this is from Veterans Day race, and Donna was there. And so I went with a friend, and we all agreed that we're gonna go do the race, and then we're gonna look around a little bit, and we're going home. But when we got there, she didn't want to go home. She wanted to go do something else. She wanted to have a cider. And it's like, now I'm kind of stuck there. And I thought, okay, well, I can walk home. I can see if I know somebody here. They'll give me a ride. I can do this. I can do this. I wasn't really ready to let her just say, okay, you go do what you want to do. I'll find my way home. I had to have like 4 backup plans. And so I had all these backup plans. I was like, okay, fine. You just go get a drink. I'll be fine. And I take a breath, I look around, and a neighbor that wasn't there for any other purpose, like random neighbor shows up, looks around, and realizes he's at the wrong spot. And I said, can I get a ride home with you? And he said yes. And so essentially, we talked about this a couple of months ago. You don't necessarily have to know how the answer is going to come to you. You just have to know that it is going to come to you in the form of George. So that's it.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, and then I'd like to invite everybody to stand as Donna leads us in our closing community song, which is the peace song.
Just the peace.
Just the peace. That's all.
Just the peace song.
Is the peace song.
Just.
It's hard to sign with one hand. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, God amongst all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with
Can I have your attention just for one moment? I want to remind you that there's sign-up sheets on the table. There's for classes. There's also the card for Russell. And thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Woohoo!
Do we know how his son passed?
No, it said on Facebook that he died outside.